Hi, my name is Keith Manina, and this is my video about my teaching style / philosophy. What do I mean by learning? That's a pretty open-ended question. It comes from both sides. It's not just the students, it's about me, the teacher. And the difference between learning and mastery, it comes from both sides. And mastery it doesn't end. I have to keep learning in order to keep teaching. Like, there's not just one book, there's not just one text, there's not just one student. There are countless students, countless lessons. The skills that I want my students to learn will prepare them for the next teacher, the next lesson, continuously. There's always more to learn. There's always more to teach. How would I assess my students' growth and learning? By continuing to involve myself and my students in the process of learning. By the use of, everything. Okay, I'll break it down like this. My father taught me a lesson years ago that I will carry on with me for the rest of my life. He said, if they make a tool that does what you need it to do, get that tool. There's no reason to have a dozen tools that don't actually work for that one job. So years later, my wife bought something online. It was a piece of furniture. And it showed up with this one tiny little Allen wrench. And I factored in the man hours that it would take me to put together that piece of furniture with that one tiny little Allen wrench. It would have taken forever. So what I did was I ran down to Lowe's and I bought an electric screwdriver and an entire set of attachments. So instead of the possibly 12 hours that it would have taken me to put together the piece of furniture, I did it in 2 hours. But I guess my teaching philosophy would be kind of based on that. I mean, if you find a good way to do something that works, do it. And depending on how to judge growth, you have to be present the whole time. If it's an art class, you'll notice that your students work with a pencil, colored pencils, crayons. It becomes more cohesive. And the things that I would like to use in class are really everything attainable. I mean, every available piece of technology, that I'm supplied with. I'll probably be supplying quite a bit of that myself. Audio, visual. I'm a visual learner myself. I mean, videos, games, not video games, because I'm not one of those people. I mean, grading. Some things have definite answers. Some things are more subjective. Let's say if I was, like I said earlier about pencils and, crayons and stuff like that. I mean, you notice that children get better. But in math, they get the right answers. But you can teach them techniques aside from, the obvious Common Core stuff that, we learn to teach them. But really, there are tried and true methods that have been around for thousands of years. And extracurricularly, I'd like to use those on top of the stuff that we are taught to teach, like the use of little blocks and series of blocks. I grew up with the times tables and plain old adding and subtracting and multiplication, division. Those things have worked for hundreds, thousands of years. But I do believe that a class, depending on the percentage of students, some of them struggle. Some of them always struggle. And there will always be those students who get it immediately. Grading on a curve, when necessary, I will use that. I completely understand. I empathize. I would love to do a lot of projects, group projects, individual projects, individual study. From that one video, I just learned about Genius Hour. I love that concept. Just to give a student time to focus on something that they're actually interested in, that is outside of the normal prescribed curriculum. That keeps them engaged. And it gives them a sense of being seen and heard. There are different methods that we've studied this semester. Some of them work, but none of them work entirely on their own. I'd like to have an authoritative tone, but part of me wants to, at least part of the lessons across a week or so, with each individual class, I think you have to be a little indulgent. You have to let the students kind of learn at their own pace. But that also has parameters. Some students struggle with different things. Some, like I said earlier, some other students who just didn't get it. Just get it immediately. But it's important to not let those students fall by the wayside. There's always going to be the overachievers. There's always going to be the underachievers. This whole thing is kind of a bunch of loaded questions, because as a beginning teacher, you don't know any of these things until you actually have a classroom. You know, I just, to sum it up, I just want to be as receptive to my students as possible. And I just want to be, I want to be there for them, which is the really the most simplistic way to put it. You know, and I think by starting with that base, that I really don't know anything until I start doing it. I mean, you learn on the job. You know, I've worked in the service industry for years, and I've been thrown to the wolves many times on many jobs, and I've done great. You know, but it's really I mean, your students are, in a big way, they are your coworkers, but you have a supervisory, you know, position above them. But it's your job to guide them and grow together. I'm beyond excited for this new phase of my life, to actually make a difference in the lives of my students. You know, I'd like to be remembered in a positive way, a way that in my years working other jobs, you know, other fields, other careers for the last 20 years, I think this would be a good fit. You know, I'd like to, you know, the short of it, make a difference and be there as a caring, understanding, listening, and reacting person. Yeah, I mean, that's really, it's really all I got. I mean, hope this was good enough as a video. Thank you.